Hello. Excuse me. Whoa. Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing this morning? This fine Thursday. Already Thursday. Good morning, Royal Palms. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Sterling. Thank you for being able to tune in, Sterling. Good morning, David Atkins. Thought we are gonna top. Thought we were going top have a 1 hour head and shoulders in ES to talk about this morning, but no. Again, shorts are tough right now. So I'm only using them for pullbacks. Shorts are tough. We've got the insane market that can just keep going more and more insane. Hello, Charles. Where is everybody this morning? What is just because the market keeps going up? I guess we don't need to tune in. I should maybe take tomorrow off. Ah, tomorrow off. Hey, Rusty and Patrick over on Rumble also. They're rumbling this morning. So how are we looking today? We have Powell speaking, but not talking about financial stuff, so that doesn't matter. We got Bowman speaking. Again, we got Fed speak. Can't get enough Fed speak. We got 4 and 8 week bill options. We got that's where we're looking right now, but a very quiet day. Good morning, Daniel. Interesting how peso and some other currencies are staying strong. Thank you for putting that in there, Daniel. Tomorrow we got consumer sentiment and Fed speak. So far, chips, AI is AI, Oracle, and NVIDIA. Rotation in Oracle and NVIDIA, AMD a bit. What's this app? App loving group. App loving's not loving it this morning. Tesla, a little pullback. Microsoft, Apple, some of the mega caps are mixed. Costco bouncing, the dirt cheap Costco trading at insane PEs. But the market does not care about valuations. The groups, we'll just do a quick refresh. I believe everything except consumer cyclical, financials flat, consumer cyclicals are down, pretty much based off Amazon and Tesla. Everything else positive, financials are flat. Fed watch still, cut. Neutral mode, Schiller PE 40.32. Let's go for 44. Can we get 44? Delta was a beat. Pepsi was a beat and gave pretty good guidance. So both of them are up. I'm going to be watching for possible just a little pullback in Delta, not necessarily today, but over the next few days for a long. There you go. Pepsi Sterling put it in. Pepsi beat. Delta beat. There you go. Thank you for putting that in, Sterling. All right, I just want to review something real quick. All right, so we hit the first target. We talked about this little mini double. Here's exactly, I just want to give in case people don't know how I like to do things. So, hold on. So we had the first target hit, then we did not break below the trend line. All right, that was the key thing I was watching. Then with momentum, we took out the second and third targets. When we have momentum like that, especially when we take out the targets easily, what do I like to do? I'm doing the retracements. So I'll change the color on this real quick so we can see it. What color should we choose? Let's take an orange. All right. So what's the next thing, especially with momentum? We took out the targets. What do I watch for? The short term. I need to flip this around because I put it on the wrong way like a moron. Hold on. I changed the color on the wrong one too. Oh, here we go. Sorry. I screwed up. Moron Mike. There we go. All right. So we went straight above 62.5 and closed easily above it. So then the targets for me, the 75, but especially the 87.5. Now we just kept up with momentum, paused at the most recent highs. So again, I like to take something off, especially at that 87.5 to most recent highs, and then I'll do the harmonics if we're going to take out the highs. We took out the highs and retested it. So my next target was around the 68.10 level. Okay. To at least raise a stop, if not take some partial profits. So we had a mini mini head and shoulders, and then we pulled back. So based off these harmonics, again, if we rally today, let me clean up the chart now. I just wanted to review that with people. You might want to play with that, especially if you take out double targets with momentum. That's how I structure things. All right, and no, we don't have a head and shoulders now. We're into one shoulder, two shoulders, three shoulders. So we don't have a hunchback shoulder pattern. If we take out this now, based off yesterday's harmonics, we already, by the way, we also stalled out just above this harmonic. So I am looking at this morning. I am looking at, if we start taking out 68.05, watching for the retest of the 68.10 to 68.12 level, we break above 68.12. Look at that. So I'm using the reverse harmonics from this little correction pattern, and we have yesterday's harmonics. 68.14 definitely for a stop raise, and then we have the cluster about 68.16, 68.17. So if we can sustain something above the 68.05, that's my target area I'm setting up. If we cannot, I'm watching this 1 hour rotation zone, but the key breakdown area for me, again, this is not a short, 67.95. Why isn't a short going straight into a 4 hour rotation zone? So I'd be still looking for pullbacks. Unless we have massive momentum. We start getting those momentum bars. Because we have this trend line coming up, which is, no, it's technically a best fit line, sorry. We have a best fit line coming up and the rotation zone for catching anything and a fair amount of stopping points in here. So unless we have massive momentum, we start getting momentum bars to the downside, I'll be looking for any pullbacks for still buying opportunities. Now, we are waning momentum. We could be getting a triple divergence. This is really waning. But without momentum, can't get aggressively short. I'm expecting us to get some kind of tipping event soon, but don't know what that's going to be. All right, what else do we have here? Hey, Rick. Tilray, beat. Up 17.4. Oh, boy. Bassett Furniture, it's buy out. Let's just buy it all. Buy everything. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Heinrich. Good morning, OD Green. Let me know if that was helpful with that little double stuff and how I came up with those levels. Just trying to really teach some stuff to people. That doesn't mean you have to do it exactly as I do. I'm just trying to teach how I come up with, at least, especially intraday targets and what I do. Look at that best fit line also with the daily rotation zone. That's why I can't get overly aggressive to the short side. Now, NASDAQ. Again, we took off NASDAQ. NASDAQ I ranked third, I think. And we took off with the momentum. Clearly closing above the 62 and the 75 from yesterday and then taking out the highs. And you could use the minor harmonics just like I showed you, but yesterday coming up to the next major harmonic too. You can see it right here. The next key harmonic. We are running out, literally, of pausing areas. This is what I'm saying. And we still have waning momentum. You see down here on the RSI. This is getting a little tough now. We do have a 4 hour pausing bar. So I'm going from the last little move up here. If we can, a key level I'm watching on the NASDAQ is above 23,355. It's got to sustain above there for a breakout trade. Then targeting yesterday's high, then above there, 25,445, and then 25,496 to 25,523. So 25,5 if we take that out. Key support, you can see the 4 hour rotation zone. You can see the prior breakdown around this 25,250. Even if we broke down below there, you're looking at support around 25,2. Have to get momentum. Same thing. Overall on the daily rotation zone, again, could we get something that comes out, return to daily rotation zone? Now 25-1 is there. Maybe shorts with momentum. Otherwise, we'll just watch for pullbacks. Hey, Christoph, how are you doing? Thank you for coming today, Christoph. Really appreciate it. Okay, so the Dow, gonna be watching this to see if we do get any pullbacks, and this is not just for today, but if we do get any pullbacks in the S&P and Nasdaq, gonna be watching to see. Dow's getting closer to the cycle bottoms. We'll be watching for a rotation into the Dow possibly. The Dow has definitely been lagging, still holding the rotation zone, still holding this 46,750 area. So over the next, if we do finally get some pullback in the S&P and Nasdaq, I'm going to be watching to see if we get a rotation in the Dow, something shifting into the Dow, bumping up this level a bit for a key target area. If we do break higher, then it has to sustain above 47,100. And 46,750 is key support. So it's support resistance unless we take out the first target, the upside 47,100 with momentum. The Russell, little areas I'm watching going into the open. 2492 still, 2503. Breakdown, those support resistance or breakout and breakdown plays. Russell's giving a little more room here, especially if it gets below the 4-hour rotation zone into this little clear path area. So there might be a little more room if we do get some momentum with the short. VIX back below 17. Looks like we're really trying to base higher in the VIX, but 16 is going to be a key support level. Watching again 16, and now it's about 17.25 if we start selling off. But if we, again, there's not much. The DAX breaking, not breaking as in Kobayashi letter that says breaking about everything, but breaking to new highs. 24,950 area, then 25,170. Again, pullback key support coming in at 24,630. The yields still stuck in the middle with key support resistance. Still watching a breakout again to the upside, but nothing yet. The note futures still sort of hanging on to a potential double top. If it rotates back down, double bottom. If it rotates back down, it'll be a triple bottom. That's the only thing that would make me short-term bearish on yields. Crude, interesting. All right. Crude, we still have the double bottom playing out now. The 15 minutes created now. Oh, it's off the table now. Since in the last little bit, it's off the table. Let's see on the 4-hour. That's shaky. I'd still use this. If it starts breaking and closing back below 62, that would be an aggressive trailing stop for me. I was looking earlier. I haven't checked in Crude in the last couple hours. We had a potential double top. It's now a triple on the 1 hour, on the 15-minute, and roughly invalidated on the 4-hour. So that I'm still going to be looking again 62 area. If we can follow through with a close, 61.95 would be an aggressive trailing stop. It's now triple topped here. If it breaks out higher, 63.19, 63.52. Triple tops, what slightly favored a continuation. And the final target is right near to 50 again. Natty gas, by the way, this might never trigger, and I'd only use this for a pullback trade at this point. We've got the rising rotation zone after the breakaway roll gap, and the double was invalidated. So now I am back to watching. If we do trigger this, again, it's been confirmed but not triggered, I'd be looking at these levels for pullbacks only in natty gas. Gold, what is gold actually down $1? Gold does have a little mini potential double top. Do not short it. Yes, it will be out of the way of the rotation zone. It's not worth shorting gold. It would take us back to the daily rotation zone. It's out of the way of the 4-hour rotation zone potentially. We are cycles at the top, insanely overbought. Again, I'm still not. Yes, we will get at some point decent shorts in gold, but that's just too aggressive with that rising rotation zone in the way, and that would just return it to there. An aggressive trader could do it. Silver plowed just since we've been talking, plowed through the next harmonic. Hey, you're almost at 50. What did it hit? The high? 49.96. 49.96. You're halfway to 100, people. There you go. Halfway to 100. Copper. There you go. Breaking higher. As I said, next target is about 535 area. 534 or 535. Copper. Keeping climbing. Platinum. We have a there is still possibly a minor double top, but not short this. It's probably going to get invalidated. The next major cluster area is 1750, 1752 area. Dollar index. Holding key resistance and breaking through. So key resistance, now key support 98.20. This is going to catch a lot of people off guard, especially if it triggers this double. So I'm back to looking for pullback plays on this. This is going to get interesting with the dollar index. Euro breaking down, but right at key support now. It's really got to get below this 116 on a closing basis. And you got the 62.5 rule at 115.89. So you get the close below there. We could be retesting the low areas from the end of July. What am I missing with comments? When the government shutdown is eventually over, will the delayed data come out within just a couple days? It'll come. It depends on. Some will, some won't. Some will. It's going to be mixed. But some data that was already collected and just not reported on will come out quickly. If data was not collected, then it will not. So it's a mixed thing, Christoph. Good morning, Kevin. Yeah, buy. Gold down a buck. We talked about copper, Charles. Everyone is watching for Palantir breakout. Well, let's take a look at that real quick. Planner's Peanuts. Let's take a look at Planner's Peanuts. We still have a massive potential weekly double top on here. Other than that, in the short term, everybody's watching for the breakout. Well, got the levels on the chart already. Or we're just in what's their PE now? 605. 605. You gotta buy it all. It's trading 605. My gosh. This is pure insanity. We're still in the over frothy market, but it can keep on going. Intel has touched the 62.5 retracement of the recent high, but is paused. It looks like the weekly 8 EMA will cross over to, if things stay the same. Intel, this will be a great. The double is off the table, never triggered. It has stalled out. You're completely right. You're completely right. Again, is it shortable yet? No. I will be looking. I will be looking. This is actually trading at levels when they were still making money. Oh boy. Pure insanity. Intel said, you know what? I can't guarantee anything, but I'm going to be watching at some point for this gap to fill. It's going to get interesting, just not yet. Not yet. Don't know. It can go higher. Yeah, but Sterling already knows my key area. 38.67 on a closing basis shifts the probabilities. That would be a daily closing basis. 605. Let's make it 1,000. Why not? Why not? Hey, we silver going to look. We got gold 10,000. I'm again. If you're new here or watching on replay, you don't know what. Being a little sarcastic, but we got people called gold 10,000, silver 100. Well, let's make Planters Peanuts 1,000. Why not? Why not? It's dirt cheap, only a PE of 605. It's a growth stock. Things are frothy. Frothy, frothy, frothy. They can keep going. Short at your own risk. Next target's on the S Spiders, 675.38, then 679.25. You got very key support in the short term, 672.50 area. I just don't need, there's not much for me to talk. Maybe that's why. Maybe people stop tuning in because there's nothing to talk about. Or maybe it's just me. 612.77, 613.70 are the next minor targets. Again, we don't even have a, this is not technically not a pausing bar. The last pause, geez. We technically, just because it's red does not make it a pausing bar. You need a bar that doesn't take out the prior day's highs. Bitcoin, still no rotation trigger up, but moving a sideways, roughly a sideways correction with the rising rotation zone. Tesla, still holding the rotation zone. Nvidia, in potential double top territory. Could it be off the table? Well, let's see. I put that on yesterday. If it gets above 192.98, the potential double is off the table. We're back in, it looks like we're back in the frothy AI trade with the circular financing wheel. Broadcom still technically not stopped out the percent B buy. But again, the double turned into a triple and never triggered. So there's only that. What else didn't we look at? We didn't look at AMD yet. AMD taking out the most recent high area. Oh, when this all unwinds at some point, it's going to be hysterical. 246.15 is the next target. We're trading 237 on the gap up this morning, then 265. Buy it all. Dirt cheap PE, 121.75. Well, not as cheap as Palantir at 605, but 121.75 is pretty cheap. We're still tuning in, just silently listening at the sarcasm. Again, there are no shorts. We're in blow off top stage. We are there. You don't want to short a blow off top. You need to wait for the primary, then the primary pullback, then the secondary reaction. Shorts are stupid right now. Reddit not, thank you for pointing that one out. Oh, did it go to triple bot? Oh, man. It went to triple. I didn't look at it yesterday, but again, it's rotation zone. Hitting the first target from the head and shoulders, but no bounce yet. Maybe. Jeez. Reddit dirt cheap too. 173.82. Oh, first target hit on the head and shoulders. It's a sloppy one, but first target hit. I'm still expecting at some point. Let's see if it can get another bounce in it first, but this is going to reconnect, fill the gap, and reconnect with the 200 area. It is coming out of oversold. It's looking like it's setting up divergences, so it could get a bounce. If you're aggressive on the Reddits above about 213, But I would not be trying to pick the bottom just yet. It needs to bounce first. All right. Is everybody having fun yet? Are we having fun? That's what's key. As long as we're having fun with the insane markets. Again, I just can't unless we get some momentum. And by the way, this was a great example of momentum that petered out quickly. This was a great example of bullish momentum yesterday. You can see them both on the 15-minute charts. So that's what I'm watching for. If we do get something on anything from the short side, other than that, be looking for pullbacks. Other than that, nothing to talk about. We're going into Friday tomorrow. Nothing major tomorrow. Consumer sentiment, which will still come out. Let's just recap for tomorrow morning. Consumer sentiment, because it's a private institution, it is coming out tomorrow. So that will be, I don't know if Fed can say anything that's going to move the markets. So it's still quiet. Next week, we do have options expiration. Also, based off the betting pools, the government shutdown is not supposed to end anytime soon. Supposed to, I think it was targeting like 22 days. So not supposed to be over soon. Can something happen? Yeah, but looks like both sides are just digging in their heels. So I guess at this level, no news is good news because we have no bad economic news to potentially come out. And we won't get the PPI and CPI, which were supposed to come, unless this ends, before next. Oh, we have a holiday also on Monday. There is a holiday on Monday. I forgot about that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Yeah, losing money is not fun. But losing money and sticking to stops is part of trading and investing. When you're wrong, you're wrong. You're never going to be right all the time. So it's not fun, but that's why you take stops, because you don't want a small loss to turn into a bigger loss. Because bigger losses are more unfun than smaller losses. Is that a word, unfun? Or a set or a phrase? If you're going to sell at ODTEES Iron Condor, which strikes would I use? Oh boy. I'd be using, jeez. For like tomorrow, I'd be using something around the peaks being around 6,800 and the wings, I'd probably go 68.25 for the upper wing and about 60, it'd be skewed about 69.70 on the lower wing. For a short term, that's a very short term. That's like either expiration today, or if you're going to do something with expiration tomorrow, that's the areas I target. It's a phrase now, unfunner. Don't make a small loss and a big loss, because that's unfunner. That's the lesson for today. Don't make things unfunner. Don't short, because that's going to be unfunner in this kind of market. I'd rather miss a drop than try to repeatedly short this thing, because shorting this is unfunner unless we get momentum. And that's for short-term shorts. That's for short shorts. Remember that whole thing, what was it, a few years ago with the short shorts? Elon sending, I forgot who he sent the pair of short shorts. So any shorts are short shorts. Short-term shorts, and they're pretty much unfunner at this point. And with that, I will leave you all today. All right, Sterling, I hope that helps. Again, you have to do your own investigation if you're asking me questions. I cannot tell you, and I did not look at anything with those strikes. I just based it off of the chart. I always do investigation. This isn't just, I know Sterling will do investigation, but I always look at the volume, the open interest, and I just double check the volatility level at each strike price before I put on. And I look how I can construct it, because with iron condors, you know, what am I doing with calls and puts? But how many times will you be right or will you be wrong? Well, that's based off your strategies. That's based off your historical data. And that's why I also tell people to trade with the trend unless you have a major top pattern. Why? Because if the trend is up, you're going to be right more often than you're wrong. And the trend is your friend until it ends. I'd rather be right a lot with the trend and wrong once or twice, when the trend ends, than trying to fight the trend the whole time. Sterling investigates ton of metrics. Just wanted your opinion on the levels. Well, there you go. I know, Sterling. I was not talking to you. I'm talking to other people who might just do things blindly. Remember, a lot of people don't want to make trading or investing their own. They just want other people to tell them what to do. Why do I give out stuff? I give out things for people to look at, and then it's up to them to make it their own. Okay? I will cite levels that are helpful. I will cite patterns. But again, the trade is up to you, because you have to be responsible for your own trades. Setting up, I may tell you what targets I'm looking at, but it's then important that you make it your own, and especially on execution, you have to be responsible for it. I cannot be responsible for your trade because I am not sitting in front of your computer, and I don't know when you put it on. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how you're trailing, and you don't know how I'm doing stuff because I can't sit and live stream all day. Nor would I want to, because that's not helping. That's like a chat room that doesn't help people make it their own. Sterling has made things his own. He loves these iron condors. He's made it his own. That's how you learn. I'm just here to help with guidance and teach stuff, like I showed you how that double bottom, how I do things, especially with the kind of play yesterday. And then you can choose and look at it and make it your own. Or say, I don't like to do things like that. I like to do things like this, which is wonderful. So make it your own. Until then, yes, it is better to trade with money you don't need. That's why only trade or invest with money you're willing and you can lose without affecting your lifestyle. I think when we start getting, and we will get, a doozy of a pullback at some point. When we do, people are so highly leveraged, especially a lot of boomers. They're all in. They're all in on this market with leverage, which is very dangerous, because a lot of them are just counting on it like it's guaranteed money, like it's a savings account. And it's not. And when things unravel, especially with leverage, it's not pretty. Just keep that in mind too. Bye for now.